should have brought my GoPro because this is the start to something big. I'm on one of my neighbor's property and I'm going to be embarking on a swap. It's going to be a pretty cool project and I am going to be getting a white semi-truck out of it.
Yeah, pull out of my grid, all your magic, yeah, pull out of my grid, all your magic, you won't let in my face. On it on me, got me that thing, clinking to glasses, bottles of rum on the way, stealing my shit now, copy my shit now, hating on me now.
So, today we find ourselves in an old man's warehouse looking for batteries. Why, you might ask? And that is so that we can purchase, with labor, a semi-truck and trailer. There's one right there, but ooh, that's nice. He told me there was a bunch in one area though. Some motor chilling under there. El Camino. Edsel? What is this? It's an Edsel. What is an Edsel? Found the batteries. They were right in front of me. We're after that truck right there though. So we're putting an engine in. Can't really see it. This was William King's late wife's truck and he wants to drive it again. There's a gas 460. It's coming out and going in the bed of the truck to come back. That truck that we're taking away has a 6.9 Power Stroke. We're doing dirty diesel things. And now the adventure begins. Cold as a witch's in a brass bra. I'll be working on Mr. King's truck today. I just want to see if it'll crank over. I want to check some fluids. I've only taken one gander, but nothing in here looks too crazy. We got one battery terminal there. Got our positive leading right across the front. We're nope, right here. All right, let's throw some batteries in and see what it does. Story was he ran it about 3 years ago. This man is 96, mind you. He said this last season he tried to come out and start it just to get it running. He got batteries in it and was having issues with the tumbler and couldn't get it to run. And then he gave up on it that day. Again, this man is 96 years old. He has an excuse, you don't. Go do stuff to your piece of shit. There's the whole glow plug issue with these. I'm gonna try the key first. All right, we are in park. Okay, he is correct. Ignition cylinder does jack. It's totally a shot in the dark. I'm gonna hold this for a minute. I'd imagine this is probably glow plugs. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and call that warm. Well, that's worrying. There's no goddamn oil. This is going poorly very quickly. It's kind of seeming like it's locked up. So I need to go get oil firstly and a big wrench. In 3 years, that rate makes sense this thing was in. I bet you if I go back to his property, there's a big old oil stain. But if it was 8 years, 2 years is how long that oil took to drain out, and a bit of moisture got in from, say, you know, the busted intake or the part that's open via pulley, then there's a chance that it's really locked up, which would not be fun. Oh man. There's just a little bit of rust on the sleeves, that's it. You just need to work past that. I'll give you some oil. That'll be the first thing you'll get to suck down. Oil up the rings and everything, it'll be nice. Just break free, please. we're gonna get a little stuck engine concoction made. Got a bottle of Stabil, just a little bit in there. I just wanted the bottle mainly. Stabil's pretty much just alcohol and dye, so I'm not really worried about it. It'll probably just help the situation, if anything. There was a chunk of something in there. That's always good. The rest of it's gonna be CVT ATF. It's lubricant. And so what you're doing here is you're putting brake fluid in because it's quite caustic and it'll eat away the rust. And then you're putting the oil in as a lubricant to ensure that you're not, you know, grinding your engine when you spin it around. Because you could just do like acetone or brake clean or, you know, anything like that. But that's going to be a lot harder on the piston rings when you do get it to spin. There we go. Now we don't have Stabil, we have locked engine juice. You know, I probably could struggle, but I think this intake's just going to have to go. Yep. Yeah, it's going to be a lot easier. How's this feeling here? How we doing, guy? Feels spinny. Not really any hard spots or anything. I think that puppy's good. Zero shaft play that I can feel. Let's pop some goddamn injectors out. Look at that farmer shit right there. What looks like an MPT fitting, welded into a 90-degree to get it to the braided metal oil cooler line. We got some brake clean up around those threads. Stack reload. One's looking a little dirtier than the first one. We'll give all these a nice brake clean rebuild before we put them back in as well. Just looking at injectors, you can't really tell much on the actual condition and the pattern. I'm gonna scientifically squirt like 2 or 3 squirts in every cylinder. We're going with 3. It doesn't miraculously turn because of no compression, so hopefully the rings are just bunged up in there from an exhaust valve being open or something. I'm gonna put that over top and we'll let that sit for a week or 2 and I'll get back to it. See you in just a second. It's been about a week now that this thing's been sitting, so I wanted to come out and put some torsional love on it and see if it'll break free. Really hope it does. If not, we'll probably add some more. Let it sit for a little while longer. Come on. She is quite locked. Well, that's not good. I think that was a little bit of progress. I watched this fin go from about here to about here. I'm probably gonna turn it around like that with the starter until that no longer works. And then I'll pry some more. And if it doesn't go anywhere, then I'll put some more oil down the cylinders. Definitely freed up. I'll try to put the 15/16 in the breaker bar on. I tightened the crank bolt so much I'm worried I'm gonna break it. That's why I'm using the starter a little bit, but it is a lot of strain on the starter. There's little lines. That first line was this fin, so we're starting to free up for sure. It needed the leverage of the starter and probably the torque force hitting it. That sounds pretty even. My camera died. All I did after it died though was circulate the engine a little bit to get some of that oil through it. The flushing oil, I thought I had all the injectors all the way out. When I was getting that oil flushed through, one of the injectors, that one right there, fell into the hole and gained a little bit of compression, and it ended up shooting out and going down the side of the engine. So now I built this really handy tool here. It's an injector holder because I don't want to mix the injectors up. They might have weird spray patterns from, you know, however old they are. I'm gonna pull these injectors so that I can clean them up real nice, inspect them all under a light, make sure none of them are, you know, actually
up. They all looked pretty good on first inspection the other day, but you know.
Alright, let's take these to the rebuilding bench. Get them nice and cleaned up. You always gotta work in a nice clean area, you know? These are precision pieces of equipment that you're working with here. They actually are. I talk shit, but they totally are. So, I've found our first problem. That we have one stuck injector. Compare that to that. I can't run my glove across this without it getting snagged. What that means is that that would be a pretty unhappy cylinder. Oh, I am really glad that I took these apart. This is hand tight. Not sure how tight that's necessarily supposed to be, but what I can tell you is it's supposed to not come off by hand like that. Is there supposed to be a third dowel? Uh-oh. Might have just got it. Gavin, you f***ing idiot. I just dumped all of the contents, and I have them all, because I'm working on my nice clean workbench here. The issue is, are these spacers? Are these swash plates? Are they supposed to be in a certain order? You know what you do when you're not confident about something? Potentially make more of a problem. What's our next dirtiest one? Our other back cylinder here. This is our first mistake. This is our second mistake. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is reverse engineer using a different one and hopefully not end up in a worse position than we were prior. I think we have all of them. So if that is the case, then we'd go with a 3 mil, and then we'd go with both of our 2 mils, which these are all gonna get cleaned off real well before I reassemble. And then it's our squash plate, and then another big fat one. Whew. I never want that to happen again. The whole unexpected disassembly of the injector was not very nice. I think the torque spec is something around there, probably. It's fine thread, so it can't be that much. Okay, we're gonna run to Napa and see if they have any of these O-rings. I had literally one of them in my O-ring kit. Hopefully they have something for us, and then we'll be back to it. So I stopped by Napa and they were able to order me a kit. It was over $60. I went to Tractor Supply and spent about $10. Injectors are all nice and clean. I'm gonna anti-seize the threads going down into the block, as well as the bottom cap pieces, these sections. I'll throw some anti-seize on there too. Got return lines on, every single injector cracked still. We're gonna crank on it, see if we can get fuel to plumb up to all those. Not seeing any fuel coming out of the injector lines. If you need a bump in compression on the startup, just use a little bit of gear lube. Fill your fuel filter with it. All right, it's been a couple days. We're back on the scene of the crime. We weren't getting fuel out of the high pressure fuel pump because I'm not hearing the solenoid. So we'll get into that and try to get it running real quick. I want to hear this thing fire. Make gross Ford IDI noise. It does have a turbo, so it'll at least be kind of cool. Gross Ford IDI noise. We certainly don't have any power going to the fuel solenoid. What I'm gonna do now is go get a little chunk of wire and we're just gonna jump power to the solenoid and see if we can hear it make some noise. We have fuel to our return lines now. We have fuel coming out of every cylinder. I'm gonna grab a wrench and tighten down all the injectors. And we'll give it a crank, see what it does. Got some cheapo starting fluid. See if it does anything for us. Well, it runs. It even ran on its own fuel there for a second. Let's do it again. Well, sounds pretty healthy, especially for being stuck like a week and a half ago. Well, she purrs like a kitten, and I think I want to drive it. Before I end this video, I figured that'd be a good way to send it out. Clean up the engine bay a little bit so I can shut the hood most of the way. Okay, let's get the ignition plugged in, or the fuel, sorry. And then we will go for a little drive. Beautiful. See if we can start her up from the cab. Transmission had fluid in it, so it should work, right? Brakes feel like there's something there. Okay, I lied. The brakes do absolutely nothing. Let's see if there's fluid in it. Well, there's fluid, which isn't good. Meh, who needs brakes? They only slow you down. I got nothing from brakes. We got an e-brake? Oh yeah. All right, let's go for try 2. Now we have some transmission fluid. Hopefully it doesn't shift so poorly. I keep pressing the brakes like there's something there. I know there's not. You gonna shift for me? There you go. Shifts. God damn, this thing feels gutless. Just neutral coasted out and then use the e-brake to stop. Can't tell if this is underpowered or just a gutless IDI engine, and I've never driven one because I've never driven an IDI, so there's a possibility that this is more power than they normally have, and I'm just underwhelmed. Can't even break traction on dirt. Alright, well, I have deduced that the truck is a giant pile of shit, but the engine runs good, which is good, because that's what we need from this. Next episode, we'll spend some time tuning the engine up. We'll get it all tuned well, and then once I trust it all, we will yank it all out and go get his white Ford so that we can swap it in there. Let me shut off my engine real quick. Got a little bit hot there. You'll have that on these big jobs though, I think. Probably flush the radiator. We'll get an oil change in it because it's still got cat transmission fluid in the oil currently, which is fine. That was a good run for it to flush all the crap out. And then we will get this engine pulled out and put it in his other truck. I appreciate you for joining me for this one. This is definitely going to be a longer adventure than one episode. This is just the beginning, getting this thing running, making sure that it isn't a giant pile of shit, starting with it being a completely locked up engine, like so seized that I was underneath on the 15/16 bolt with my breaker bar, standing on it sideways, and was only tightening the bolt. So it was very, very seized. I let it sit with that brake fluid, ATF, and Sta-Bil, so basically just alcohol mixture, sitting in the cylinders for about a week, and then we were able to get it unlocked using the starter. Seeing as how it started out as a completely locked engine, I feel like we're in a really good state because it runs evenly. It'll start right up. Here, let's do a little test real quick. We'll even use the button on the inside. That's glow plugs. That's a pretty good start for an old IDI Ford. Oh yeah, I can't shut it off from in there though. And that is the fuel solenoid jumper. So currently that is my shut off as well. I can't even shut it off in there. I appreciate you for joining me. Make sure to tune in the next time for whatever it is. Make sure you like and subscribe. See more of this and this going into a better Ford, and then to also see what my payment is for it, because that'll be a really cool addition to the channel. We're getting a cab over. Have a great day, and remember, don't let your meat loaf.
She just tryna save face when she with you. Drinking all night, that's what we do. Tryna